Welcome you all, students. Today we are going to learn about clause and types of clauses. This lecture is from the subject Linguistics Part 4, English Code 206, the structure of English. This is our lecture number 7. We already have conducted 6 lectures in this lecture series program. This lecture is not only essential for the students of linguistics, but it is also very important for all the learners who have been learning English grammar. So let's begin and talk about what is a clause. Before going to define clause, we already have learned about a phrase, and here we must know about once again phrase for the sake of understanding of clause. Here are three characteristics of a phrase. A phrase is a group of words. B, it does not contain a subject and predicate combination. C, it cannot convey a complete thought. So here two things we easily could understand. Number one, a phrase is a group of words and it cannot convey a complete thought. But here one thing which is uh, maybe complicated for the students, that it does not contain a subject and predicate combination. For the sake of its understanding, we must know what is a subject. Subject is a doer of an action or whom we talk about. And on the other hand, a predicate is a part of clause which gives information about subject. Like Umair is a good boy. So Umair is a subject and is a good boy is predicate. So without the subject, the whole part is known as a predicate. So phrase is either the part of predicate or it is going to be the part of a subject. So let's begin. The examples of a phrase, my cousin Rihan eats cakes daily. So where is the phrase? This my cousin Rihan is a subject and eats cakes daily is a predicate. And phrase is like my cousin Rihan. This is a phrase, a phrasal subject. So here is another example. Ali lived near the beach. Now, Ali is a subject and lived near the beach. So where is the phrase? Phrase is and predicate near the beach. So this is a phrase. Now let's begin and learn about a clause. So these are actually the characteristics of a clause. A clause is a group of words. Once again, this is easier to understand. It contains a subject and predicate combination. It conveys a complete thought by itself. Now, clause is very different than a phrase. Phrase was either the part of subject or predicate. Now, clause is actually the combination of a subject and predicate. As it is there, Rehan graduated last year. So Rehan is a subject and graduated last year is predicate. Now the subject predicate combination is called a clause. Rehan graduated last year. Ali doesn't save us. So Ali is a subject and doesn't save us is a predicate. Together, it is actually a clause. Ali will forgive all the disbelievers in the hereafter. Now, Ali is a subject and will forgive all the disbelievers in the hereafter is predicate. This combination subject predicate combination is known as a clause. Students, if you have understood what is a phrase in clause, so let's have an exercise for you. Find all the phrases and clauses in the following sentences. So here are the sentences, and if you know the answers, please give the answers in the comment box. Ali always go to the work early in the morning. We need a professional help in this matter. I wanted to talk to them in a polite manner. Rehan has lived outside of his country for 14 years. Although injured, John managed to crawl to safety. So these are the sentences. Hope you have understood. So let's begin and talk about kinds of clauses. There are basically two kinds of clauses, independent clause and dependent clause. They both combine together make sentences. So let's begin. Number one, that is independent clause, or we may call it main clause or principal clause. So here are the characteristics of main clause or independent clause. Without or with coordinating conjunction, like fanboys. And what are those fanboys? Like for, and, nor, but, or, yet. So these are actually coordinating conjunction. So independent clause is always with or without these coordinating conjunctions. Number B, it could stand itself, and number C doesn't need any other clause for its existence. It means to say it is actually sufficient, have its own meaning. For example, you may sit. Now, this clause is without any coordinating conjunction or without any conjunction. So we may say this is an independent clause. You may sit. I believe yet. So this clause is actually with the coordinating conjunction yet. So we must say this is an independent clause. But they are honest in their nature. So but is actually coordinating conjunction. So we must say this clause is independent clause. Here are more examples for you. Now let's begin to talk about dependent clause or subordinating clause. Dependent clause or subordinating clause with subordinating or subordination conjunction and other connectors like if, when, because. So with the subordinating conjunction, that is actually dependent or subordinating clause. It could not sustain itself. It depends upon independent clause. So it must come along with the independent clause. As we already have talked about independent clause, it doesn't give complete thought. So here is an example. You may say it whenever you may like. So you may say it is actually independent clause because it is without any conjunction, and whenever you may like, this is dependent clause. So whenever because it is subordinating conjunction, and whenever you may like is actually dependent clause. So this dependent clause is along with subordinating conjunction. Here is another example. After the children left for school, I went behind them. So after the children left for school is subordinating clause or dependent clause. I play with words because I love grammar. So where is the subordinating clause? Please give into the comment box. Here now when we are talking about the types of clauses. So all the types of clauses are essential types of clauses are from dependent clauses, like adjective clause, adverb clause, noun clause. So let's begin one by one these all types of clauses. Before going to understand the noun clause, we must understand noun phrase. This lecture we already have conducted. You may watch it in detail in lecture number 6. However, here is a bit explanation. A noun clause is actually a group of words. It has noun as head word and noun plus other associated words which modify a noun or pronoun. For example, dogs frighten me. So dogs is actually a noun, and big dogs frighten me. So big dogs is actually a noun phrase. Or for example, she ran outside. So she is actually a pronoun. And when we say the little girl ran outside to play, so the little girl is used instead of she. So we may say this is a noun phrase. So now let's begin and talk about noun clause. A noun clause is a subordinating clause that can have the same function in a sentence as noun or a pronoun. For example, dogs frighten. I didn't realize that. So here is actually that is a pronoun. I didn't realize that you were coming with us. So this that you were coming with us is actually a noun clause. This is a noun clause because it is a dependent clause. It comes along with subordinating conjunction that, and it gives a meaning of a pronoun that. I didn't realize that you were coming with us. So we are using that you were coming with us instead of that. The problem is money. So money is a noun. And the problem is that no one made collection to the party. So that no one made collection to the party, it equals to the word money. So here is actually the noun clause that no one made collection to the party. Now students, noun clause may begin with subordinating conjunctions and interrogative pronouns as well. And which are subordinating conjunctions and interrogative pronouns like who, how, when, why, that, what, whatever, which, whoever. So let's begin with an example. The prize will go to Raman. So Raman is actually a noun. So how we are making noun clause out of this noun? The prize will go to whoever answered the question correctly. So whoever answered the question correctly is noun clause because it is used instead of noun Raymond. I don't know who won the prize. So who won the prize is a noun clause because it is actually with the help of interrogative pronoun who, and who won the prize is actually a subordinating clause, and it is used instead of a noun. Or here are more examples of noun clause. Like the problem is who should we invite? So who should we invite is a noun clause. Now students, let's begin and talk about what is an adjective clause. So here we must understand what is adjective or what are adjective phrases. At first, a group of words headed by an adjective and it describes a noun in a sentence. For example, her behavior was unbelievable. So, unbelievable is actually an adjective. Her behavior was absolutely unbelievable. This is actually adjective phrase because unbelievable is actually head word as an adjective and it is along with other modifier absolutely, which gives meaning to unbelievable. So, this is actually an adjective phrase. We considered her behavior unacceptable. This is an adjective, but we are making out of this adjective an adjective phrase like we considered her behavior completely unacceptable. So this is an adjective phrase. Now let's talk about adjective clause. An adjective clause is a dependent clause that describes a noun or pronoun and does the work of an adjective in another part of sentence. It is also referred to as relative clause as well. So let's see. Her behavior was unbelievable. So unbelievable was actually an adjective. Her behavior was absolutely unbelievable, as we already have learned. This is adjective phrase. And we considered Eamon, whose behavior is unbelievable. So whose behavior is unbelievable, it is actually adjective clause because it is actually dependent clause along with whose, and behavior is unbelievable. This gives meaning to like unbelievable. And we are, despite this adjective or group of words, adjective phrase, we are using adjective clause whose behavior is unbelievable. Here are more examples. The children are smart. So this is adjective smart. The children are very smart. Very smart is actually adjective phrase, and we are making out of this adjective phrase an adjective clause. The children who belong to this generation are very smart. So who belong to this generation? Actually a dependent clause. So here are more examples. The company that I worked for in 2018 is shutting down. So that I worked for in 2018. This is dependent clause and it is actually an adjective clause because it gives meaning to noun or pronoun in the sentence like the company. It gives meaning to the word company. Here are more examples for the students. Who has shifted from Japan is actually dependent, and we must say this is an adjective clause. Here are more examples for the students. Now, students, let's talk about adverbial clause. Before going to talk about adverbial clause, we must explain what is adverbial phrase at first. It modifies the verb, adjective, or another adverb and works as an adverb in the sentence. For example, they went there, so there is an adverb. They went to that place. This is adverbial phrase because this is used instead of their adverb, and this is actually having a group of words. They will leave soon, so soon is an adverb, and they will leave in a few minutes. So in a few minutes is actually adverbial phrase. He works very slowly. So this is workout for students that where is the adverbial phrase you have to write into the comment box. Here now let's talk about adverb clause. An adverb clause is a dependent clause that functions as an adverb to modify the main clause in the sentence. Adverbial clauses are connected to the main clause of a sentence using subordinating conjunctions like because, since, before, although, so, or that. So adverb clause, it actually modifies the main clause and functions like an adverb. Like I'll call you when I arrive. So when I arrive, this gives meaning to the main clause. I'll call you, and this is actually dependent clause, and it modifies to the main clause, or it is used as an adverb. So we must say this is adverb clause. Omer is tired because he didn't sleep well. So because he didn't sleep well is an adverb clause because it gives meaning to the main clause. Omer is tired. So we must say, and it is used as an adverb as well. After they set up the tent, they built a fire. So after they set up the tent is actually adverb clause. Adverb clause is also known as relative adverb. In most cases, relative adverb clauses serve as adverb modifiers. They provide additional information about a verb. So relative adverbs gives information about a verb in the sentence. I read where I sleep because it's comfortable. So where I sleep gives meaning to the verb read. So we must say this is actually where I sleep is a relative adverb. So relative adverb clause where I sleep is modifying the verb read, as I already told you. So here are more actually words by which we could make more relative adverbs like who, whom, whose, that, which. So we could use these other conjunctions for making our relative words for adverb clauses. Thanks for attention. Thank you very much. Hopefully, students, this would have been very helping for all of you. Assalamu alaikum.